Okay, everyone. For today's video, I'm going to go over some more features, specific items that can help you with your essays. I have received a few texts, a few emails regarding the submission of this first assignment and how to go about it, also exactly what it entails. I guess maybe I didn't clearly state how the essays are going to work, so I will go ahead and try my best to do that now. By the time you're watching this, which the essay will be due on this day, so hopefully you've started your draft by now and not waiting till the last minute, but some people do. But as far as this personal experience draft that you're turning in, as far as the requirements for it, those are all listed on the assignment sheet. The assignment sheet is right under announcements on D2L. It's under assignments. It's on D2L. So find the assignment sheet and follow that. I've got the video with MLA instructions. I have the sheet giving MLA instructions. So MLA format is expected on these. Now, of course, if you make some mistakes, I'll point them out on the draft and you can refer to the worksheets to correct those. Um, However, I want to make it clear right off the bat, and hopefully you guys are watching all these videos in their entirety because, yeah, I know it's not the most entertaining stuff. I try a little bit, but I have to get to the point and try to clarify exactly what is expected with these assignments. So as far as what you are turning in right now, this first draft, it is a first draft. It's a rough draft. So this is not the final draft. You will have the opportunity to revise it. Um, I've gotten a few requests and emails, text messages saying, can you go over this real quick before I turn it in? Well, no, I can't, because the whole purpose of a rough draft is for you to give me your first draft. I will go through it. I will make some pretty detailed feedback. I will make suggestions. I'll make some corrections and point them out to you. And I will give you pretty detailed feedback on how to improve the essay. Now, this is a first draft, so I will make all my comments and suggestions, and I will put a grade on it. Now, that grade is not the final grade unless you want it to be. If you are satisfied with the grade that you get on this first draft, then you're done. That's your essay is done. However, if you do not like the grade that you get, I will give you the opportunity 1 week from the day I give it back to you, not a week from when it's due, a week from when you get it back with the comments and suggestions. You can revise it, you can send it back to me as a revision, and I will read it, I will compare it to the first draft, I will see if it's improved, how much it's improved, and I will adjust the grade accordingly. So for example, if on your first draft you receive a C, and I'll explain it, all that will be explained in the draft. I will make plenty of comments. You should not have any reason to say, well, why did I get a C on this? And I know some professors do that. Some professors read the papers, put a grade on it, and don't do anything else. That, to me, that's horrible. I will give you very detailed feedback, and based on my suggestions and corrections and all that, you can go back and revise the essay, send it back to me, and if that C turns into an A, then you got an A on the essay. I don't average the two and make it a B. And again, you will have 1 week. So if I give it back to you on, say, for a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, if I give it back to you on Wednesday, you have until the following Wednesday to send me the revised version. And again, I will compare it to the first draft. If it has made enough improvements to change the grade up, it will go up. However, and this is super rare, but I promise y'all, It's happened before. I've gotten revisions that were actually in every aspect, the content, the grammar, all of that, in every aspect that were worse than the first draft. Your grade cannot go down, okay? So think of the revision as kind of the only thing you can possibly do with the revision is go up or stay the same. Your grade cannot go down. So if you do, and I said this is very rare. We're talking like over a 15-year span, where the revision is actually has more issues and is just a worse essay than the first draft was. You get to keep the highest grade of the two. I guess I'll just explain it like that, but I don't see that happening. But those are your options. So again, you will get the first draft back with plenty of feedback, and there will be a letter grade on it. If you are satisfied with the grade that is on there, you're done with that essay. You don't have to do anything further with it. I do not require revisions. Revisions are up to you. You do have 1 week to do the revisions and get them back to me. So that's how that works. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but I feel that I have to. If the grade changes to a higher grade, that's it. I don't average it with the first grade. I give you, if it's an F and you change an F into an A, it's an A. You get an A on the paper. And I think I, kind of made the analogy that it's kind of like if you think about like if you're making a movie or something and you show the movie to a test audience and they hate it. It's terrible. You go back and re-edit the movie. That's what you do with papers. You revise and you edit. So you go back with your movie and you get rid of the stuff that wasn't quite working. You tighten it up here. You make this shot look better. Maybe improve some of the visuals, the special effects, whatever. And then you show it to that test audience again and they love it. They think it is amazing. Do you think they're gonna still not like the movie because the first version of it that you showed them they didn't like? No. What the final version is what I grade. So your rough draft is exactly that. It's a rough draft. It's a first draft. Um, the best writers in the history of writing do rough drafts, and they change significantly between the first few drafts and the final draft. In most cases, very, very, very few people who are serious writers. I mean, I'm talking minuscule, tiny. Their first draft is almost never their final draft. Now, I say almost never because I personally don't like to use absolutes unless they absolutely are necessary. For instance, I try not to say, well, I'm always on time and things like that, because the truth is I've been late. So technically I'm not always on time. It's just I try my best to be. So that's kind of what these drafts are for. They're for you to start getting your ideas on the page. They're for you to start working it out, getting everything from up here in this little brain up here down onto the page. And I was referring to my own brain, by the way, not any of you. My own little, that's how I write. And I'll tell you all, if anyone even cares to know, my process is I still write with a pen and paper for my first drafts on anything. I'm totally serious. I've got actually a book that been working on for quite a while now. I've got a notebook that has, I think, 130 pages of handwritten stuff with a pen and a paper. And then I go back and I start typing it up, and that's when I start doing my revising and my editing. I get rid of stuff, I move stuff around, I add things. That's what revising is. Revising, think about it, it means revision. You are seeing something in a new way. You're seeing it in a fresh way. So you go back and you make the changes that you think are going to improve it. Put the final polish on it. You fix the mechanical errors and all that stuff as best as you can. You get it into, what I call fighting shape. Like if you're boxers. You know, boxers train, they spar, they practice, and then when they get into the ring, they want to be in their best possible shape. That's kind of how I want your essays. So we do the rough draft as kind of a you can think of it as like a practice run, if you will, and you don't overly stress. I mean, I don't want you to just start pounding some nonsense out, but don't stress too much about every fine little minuscule detail in the rough draft. The rough draft phase is where you're getting the ideas are what's most important in the draft. It's getting the ideas out there. It's getting the content. When you start doing your editing, even on your rough drafts, you know, get the words on the page and all that. If you get into a flow, if you get into a rhythm, you keep going. Don't stop, don't pause, you keep going. When you feel that kind of energy waning, kind of settling down, and that flow is it's slowing, coming, and then you feel like, hey, I just got to stop. Stop, take a breather, take a break, come back to it later, go back and reread what you got. And hey, if 60% of it is just you putting kind of stuff on the page that you're not even going to use, but 40% of it is what I call, like, think of it like, you know, like you're mining. You've got 60 pounds of dirt and 40 pounds of gold. You still made a pretty good haul. You see what I mean? So if you got to get rid of a lot and keep all those gems or all those precious words, you get that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. If it really, really, really just troubles you, which this I do this too, if you're one of these people, if it really troubles you to just completely delete something from your essay, don't. I've got separate folders where I have everything that I've edited and gotten rid of from final works. I've got folders full of stuff that I threw away from the final version. I go back and look at it. There might be a new idea in there. There might be something that you can use at a later time or a later date. And let's be honest. Even the worst computers now have pretty big storage, pretty big hard drives on them, and storage spaces, and you've got the cloud and all that stuff. Look, Word documents they take up kilobytes. They are tiny. So don't worry about space. Have a junk file. Say, this is all the stuff that I threw away from all these essays I've been writing in college. There might be some diamonds in there. You might look at them 10 years from now and find this great little nugget that you've just let sit in a folder or in the cloud or somewhere for years, and come back and you might use it. So don't be afraid to get rid of stuff. You don't have to completely get rid of it. It just won't be in your final paper. And that's what revising and editing really is. So this first draft is exactly that. It is a first draft. Okay? Something is better than nothing. In the case of these essays, something is always, I'm using an absolute right now. Something is always better than nothing. Um, if you can't figure out where you're going, how to wrap it up, how to conclude your essay, if you get far enough through the bodies and all that, say, I don't know how I can finish this. Give me what you have. I can't give you feedback on a blank piece of paper or a blank document on a computer screen. I cannot give you feedback on that. Give me something so that I can give you some ideas or suggestions, something to help you get it into a finalized form before the final paper's due. But right now we're only focusing on the draft. Don't worry about the final paper right now. If you get 2 steps ahead but you're not focusing on the step you're on, that's when you stumble. And if you stumble, you're not going to make it to the next step. So focus only on the rough draft right now. If you really don't like what you have, don't worry. You can change it. You will have the opportunity to change it. So I don't think I made that clear enough based on some of the text messages and emails I've been getting. This is a rough draft, okay? You will have the opportunity to revise it. and you will get my feedback. Now, normally in a regular face-to-face, we'd be doing the peer reviews. We're obviously not doing those this time. If you know somebody, a friend, a family member that you trust, let them look at it. You also have the Writing Center. The Writing Center has options for you to do this all through email. You can do this all through there. If you go to D2L, there's a link right there. Now you may be wondering why I have my GGC email up in this video. Well, I did post an announcement of how I would prefer, and I mean this with much strength, I would highly prefer that you all do not use Google Docs for your essays. I kind of touched on my reasoning in the announcement on D2L. I do not like Google Docs. There are many, many reasons why I don't. The formatting is not conducive, although I do have a PDF up there now that shows you how to do MLA format on Google Docs. So I am still expecting you to do proper MLA if you are using Google Docs. That's first and foremost. However, as an instructor, I do not like it because I don't like the comments feature on it. It is, for me, it is not effective. It does not do anywhere near as good of a job as Microsoft Word does. But thankfully, one of your fellow students pointed out to me that you all, if you have GGC email, which you do, you also have Microsoft Word. And that's why I have this up right now. So you can see my cursor right here. I'm going to go, I've got my email open. I'm logged in. I'm going to go right here to the GGC logo. Click on it. And as you can see, you have Office 365 right here. It is right here, Microsoft Word. So there's no reason for you guys, any of you, not to use Microsoft Word. It's right here. You've got OneDrive, you can save to the cloud if you want. Excel, PowerPoint for other classes, you've got it right there. So it is to your benefit. Now, if you do send me a Google Doc, I'm still going to use it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to accept it. I can still use it, and yes, I can still give feedback. It's just, in my opinion, it's not as effective. And the end goal from my standpoint, and I sincerely hope from your end, is to get the best essay that you can get out of this experience, this class. Get the best grade, if that makes it more, I guess, tangible. So it will be to your benefit to use Microsoft Word. And you can either send them, like most of you have been doing, send them through me, send the drafts to me on D2L, or you can send them to me directly, email them to me as an attachment. Either way works. Some of you are sending them to me on email and D2L. That's fine too. In fact, hey, I sent it to both things. You've got to have it. So whichever way you want to do it, but that is my preferred thing. Now, I did also get a text message where someone said that they were going to send it to me over Gmail. Don't do that. The school's policy, and this is my personal policy, but also GGC's policy, is that we are not supposed to open or accept emails that are from outside of the institution. In other words, if you send me your essay through a Gmail account or Yahoo or something like that, I'm most likely not going to even open it. It has to be for these assignments, especially. This is school policy, GGC policy, not my policy. If you're sending me assignments through email, they have to be sent from your GGC account, obviously to my GGC account, or I'm not going to see it, but you have to send them from your GGC account. Now, if you send them through D2L, you've taken care of that 100% because you can't send it to somewhere else other than D2L. But if you are going to email them to me, they have to come from your GGC account. Okay, I want to be extremely clear on that. That is the School of Liberal Arts policy, and that is GGC's policy. So don't send me your essay through Gmail. All right, it has to come through GGC. Um, and again, you've got Microsoft Word right here, so there's really no reason at all not to use it. And it will be to your benefit. So I don't know how much more persuasive I can be with that. So if everybody does that, we'll be a-okay. Everything will be fine. And when you get me that draft, I'll give you pretty detailed feedback. Um, I'll show you an example of what it's going to look like after I go through them, in case you're not sure how the comments and all that works. And I will send it back to you. And from the day that you receive it, I'll send everybody's back on the same day. I'm not going to send them as I finish them. That's unfair. I'm not going to give somebody an extra day or an extra 2 days to work on their revision. Generally, if everything goes normally, which, haha, what is that? What does normally even mean right now? I know some of you are like, what's normal? I know I am anyway, but from the day that I send them all back, so if I send them back on a Wednesday, you will have until the following Wednesday. That's a full week to do the revision and get the revision back to me. And then we will move on as soon as, we're going to start talking about SA2 very soon. But as far as the revision goes, I will grade them, send them back to you, and then you have a week from that day to do a revision. Now, I'm totally repeating myself, but I think it might be necessary. If you are satisfied with what you get on the first draft, you're done. You're done with SA1. If you're happy, I'm happy. If you feel that what you have is what you wanted, and you feel justified with your work and proud of it and happy, that's all I can ask. So that's how these essays are going to work. I don't want to really take too much more time on this video because I know some of you are going to be burning the midnight oil on these essays. So get them done, get them in to where you're happy with what you have, even if you're not happy with what you have. I'm never happy with what I have when I'm writing stuff. Never. I'm always like, could be something that I wrote 20 years ago. I'll look back, this is garbage, this is crap, and I'll start trying to fix it. No, the first draft is exactly that, a first draft. Okay, you will have an opportunity to improve it if you want to. So get me something that I can at least look at and give you some feedback on. And if you do that, you'll be okay. Because no matter, again, no matter how troubled or in need of repair or improvement your rough draft is, at least you have something to work with, right? That's the way I look at it. You have something to work with, and you have something for me to give you some actual positive feedback on. And that's what I try my best to do. I don't just sit there and this is wrong, this is terrible, this garbage. I don't just insult you and make you know disparaging remarks about your paper. I will look at the stuff that's working and I'll be like, yeah, right here, this is great, awesome example, good use of whatever, good use of semicolon. If you use a semicolon properly, I always love that. I love it. So I'll give you props when you're doing something that's really working, and if something is a little bit troublesome, I'll point it out. I'll say, hey, this is a little bit unclear. Maybe you could rephrase that, or what is this sentence referring to this, or is it referring to this? So I try to make it clear what I'm asking and what I'm looking for. So hopefully this first essay will be a good experience, and you'll see how I'll see more in depth how you write. Now the introductory essays were great. I really enjoyed those. So I have at least that's kind of gives me a baseline to work with. Now I'm going to see an actual assignment essay from you, and I can start to get a better gauge of what we need to focus on, what we don't need to waste time on, and how we as a group, as a class, can improve. And that's what it's all about, really. It's about improving. The goal is for you, well, the ultimate goal is for you to be a competent college writer, college level writer. But for me, what I really want for you guys, for every one of you, is to be better than you were at the end of this class than you were at the start. Is to improve, because you will be using writing skills for the rest of your life. It may not be a major part of your future, but it will be a part of your day-to-day life, and with your job, it probably is right now. So do your best, but remember, this first draft is exactly that. It's a first attempt. Now, since I'm saying first, doesn't that automatically imply that there's another one to follow? If it was the only attempt, then I wouldn't say first. I'd just say, give me your essay. So try to keep a good attitude. Don't let the stress get you. Do your best, put your best effort into it, and you'll get plenty of feedback, and then we'll just move on from there. So no worries, y'all. Just get it done, get it to me, and we will move on from there. So look forward to reading these. Bye bye.